I'm not really 100% sure what to think when I read the news these days. Everywhere you look, it says America is in big trouble. America is in deep decline. The economy is a total mess. The rest of the world thinks we're assholes. And depending on which news source you read, it's all the liberals' fault. No, it's all the conservatives' fault. Oh no, it's all the Republicans' fault. No, it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's the fault of the Senate. No, it's the fault of Congress. It's his fault, it's her fault, it's their fault, or their fault. It's our fault, not my fault, it's your fault. For whatever reason, it seems convenient to believe that everything is the fault of the right or the left. It's kind of like liberals and conservatives are being pitted against each other like two opposing football teams. It seems to make less and less difference what the actual issues are as long as your team wins. I know that the images that have been painted make liberals out to be egghead tree-hugging socialist pacifists and the conservatives as Jesus-freak imperialistic gun nuts, but I think it's interesting that people seem to think that they share no common ground whatsoever. If I was to venture to guess, I would think it's likely that we all want somewhere to live. We would all like to have a way to make a decent living. I would guess that most of us think it's a better idea than not for our kids to get the best possible education. Regardless of how much people disagree about what is an actual threat to the environment, I think if you ask people the question, would you mind terribly if the planet was destroyed? The majority would say, I would rather it wasn't, but thank you very much for asking. I think it's likely that none of us is particularly keen on getting attacked by terrorists again. I would guess that when we, or someone we love, gets sick, we would rather have the best possible health care. When given a choice, we would rather it did not completely drain our life savings. This may be a bit of a stretch, but I think most people would agree that it's better to have a system where hard work, perseverance, and determination is the way to get ahead, rather than scamming and looking for loopholes in the system that will rip off everyone in sight. I don't know. Regardless of the stereotypes people in the media seem to hang on to, I personally kind of doubt that the average liberal would say, oh, it's okay with me when I get held up because I'm sure the mugger had a bad relationship with his father. I doubt the average conservative is thinking, I don't want to be taxed for no education 'cause Jeb don't need no fancy pants book learning. I personally kind of doubt that the average liberal would think, hey, if a terrorist wanted to blow up my house, that's just freedom of speech. I personally doubt that the majority of Republicans would like to change the name of Commonwealth Avenue because the name Commonwealth somehow promotes socialism. I doubt that the average liberal would say, food stamps don't go far enough, and I'm not going to be satisfied until there are also Dom Perignon stamps, chauffeur stamps, and Cadillac Eldorado stamps. I doubt that the average Republican would like to change the inscription on the Statue of Liberty, or change the actual statue for that matter. You read a lot that when a politician's attitude is uncompromising, that's supposed to be a good thing. But that's kind of like a couple going to a marriage counselor and getting the advice, when you and your spouse have a disagreement, the best thing to do is to pummel them into submission. Or like being a parent and saying to your kid, Johnny, if you happen to meet someone at school that has a different opinion than you do, don't talk to them at all. Better yet, if you can, see if you can hit them in the head with a rock. Lastly, I don't think the majority of people are enjoying the country being this divided. The polarization is obviously benefiting someone, but it certainly isn't us. There's an expression that goes, if the people lead, the leaders will follow. It's crossed my mind once or twice that if people are truly annoyed at their elected officials, maybe it's a good idea to simply stop playing their game, the game of assuming that everything that my side does is right and everything your side does is wrong. It's just a thought.